Unveiling biblical wisdom aimed at sowing fruitful thoughts. Today we unveil the parable of the workers in the vineyard, taken from the book of Matthew chapter 20 verses 1 to 16. For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard. They agreed upon a day's wage of a denarius, and he sent them into his vineyard. About 9 in the morning, he went out and saw other workers idling in the marketplace, standing around doing nothing. He told them, "You also go and work in my vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right." So they went. He went out again about noon and about 3 in the afternoon and did the same thing. Then, around 5 in the evening, he found more idle workers. He asked, "Why have you been idle all day?" "Because no one has employed us," they responded. He told them, "You too, go and work in my vineyard." As evening came, the vineyard owner instructed his foreman, "Call the workers and pay them their wages, starting from the last hired and going on to the first." The workers who were employed around 5 in the evening came forward, and they each received a denarius. So when the first hired came, they expected a greater compensation, but each one of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. "Those hired last only worked for an hour," they complained, "and you've paid them equally with us who have shouldered the workload and heat of the full day." But he replied, "I am not unfair, friend. Didn't we agree on a denarius? Take your pay and leave. If I wish to give the last hired equal pay, don't I have that right? It's my money after all. Are you envious because I am generous? So the last shall be first, and the first shall be last." Does this seem fair or unfair? The answer is neither. How so, you might wonder? Because there's a hidden meaning to this parable. As the opening line in the chapter states, "For the kingdom of heaven is like." Hence this parable is symbolic of God's kingdom. And the surprising truth is, God's grace doesn't function on human logic. Now let's go deeper into the meaning of this parable. The vineyard in this parable signifies the kingdom of God. The landowner symbolizes God himself, while the workers hired at varying times of the day represent us, God's children. Some of us may have been devoted followers from the start, while others might have turned to God later in life. Regardless of when we were called, God welcomes everyone into his kingdom. This parable imparts the lesson that God's grace and love aren't confined by human notions of time or fairness. God's generosity extends to all his children, irrespective of when they come to him. He only acknowledges the fact that they were obedient and came to him. This comprehension offers a fresh outlook on life, reminding us that it's never too late to seek God, and his love and grace are universally accessible. 10 lessons that we can learn from the parable of the vineyard workers. 1. God's generosity knows no limits, it is boundless. 2. It's never too late to be a part of God's kingdom. 3. Don't compare your spiritual journey to the spiritual journey of others. 4. God values everyone equally. 5. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. In God's kingdom, those who are considered last in the world's eyes, the poor, the sick, the helpless, the marginalized, the humble, will be exalted. Conversely, those who are considered first in the eyes of the world, the powerful, the wealthy, the famous, the proud, the prejudiced, may find themselves humbled. 6. God's rewards aren't determined by human standards. 7. God reigns supreme. His ways are incomprehensible to us. 8. God's love isn't restricted by human notions of fairness. 9. God can call us at varying times. Be obedient when he does. His blessings are endless. 10. God's grace is available to all, irrespective of when they turn to him. It only matters that they are obedient to his call. Let's apply these lessons to our daily lives.